What's up, y'all? This is your host, Robin Dillon, and welcome to Take It How It Comes.
So did you what have you been looking at? What have you been collecting?
All right, so with the help of you, actually, I did get. I don't know how this is gonna show up on the camera. I did get a Hush USA print crack dice, and also a Singularity. And a funny thing about you want to know what's funny about the Singularity? Actually, I've actually started wearing her even more in game now that I have the card. I didn't want to wear the skin because I didn't have the card yet, and it was one of those weird things. So now that I
Mhm.
have the card, I actually started wearing her even more, which is kind of interesting within itself. But yeah, those are my two recent pickups, and Hush was a rough one, I'll tell you that much. But how about you?
I haven't picked up too much since that aura. I think I bought an aura from the same guy you
Yeah,
got those two from, and I think that's the last card that I got. And with Christmas around the corner, I haven't. I've been looking on
yeah,
eBay, but I haven't pulled the trigger or anything.
yeah,
I really wanted that hush, but
yeah. I know.
I'm glad
He looked out. He looked out. Let's say that.
I'm glad you grabbed it.
Yeah.
Because I already have one. You didn't have one yet, right?
No, no.
Yeah,
I
I
was
have one
stacking
at
Optichromes.
Yeah, I have one at PSA. I
Yeah.
have to say, I have the most Hush hollows and Optichromes than anything.
Really.
I mean, I used to have that many Aura hollows and Optichromes
Yeah.
until I sold a few
Mhm.
because I had so many cracked dice now that I sold a few of the Optichrome. But
Yeah, yeah,
since I only have one or two USA Hush cracked dice
yeah,
and like two Italy, I have like, I don't know, 20 hollows
yeah.
and Optichrome thereabouts.
Hmm.
They were going for like $5 to $10 for hollows for Hush. So
For a while, yeah,
I mean, even and I was cleaning those out, and there's like, I think there's a couple on there for like 15. So
yeah.
I mean, she's pretty easy to get right now.
Do you? I actually have a question on that aspect of hollows and like Optichromes. Do I mean we've seen it with other cards like whether it was Yonder, Ultimate Knight, Ice King, and Ice Queen and everything cards that was graded early. Do you think it's Do you think Optichromes are easy or a hard grade based on the material used?
See, that's a hard one. I think so. I'll since I haven't got any back yet, right?
Yeah,
I can't really give like an experience of what I've sit in and with what I've got.
right.
But I've gone through my cards,
Hmm.
and I felt like it was harder for me to find a clean
That's why.
Optichrome.
Yeah,
So the hollows, you look at the edges. When you're looking to
right.
grade, you're gonna look at the edges and you're gonna look at the surface, make sure there's no like any scratches or anything.
Yeah,
And normally you're pretty good, but with the Optichrome, you have to look for the scratches. But because of the way the Optichrome is, you get these lines in there too, like these, I
yeah.
don't want to say like print lines, but
It's
they
more
almost look
scratches than anything.
yeah, they're scratches or they look like scratches. So
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they're actual scratches, because then they
Mhm.
get like these little dimples in the Optichrome too.
Right.
So it was really hard for me to send in my auras. I went through. That's why I had so many. I went through like 10 Optichrome to find the best ones to send
Yeah.
in. The hollows weren't as hard, right? They
Right.
don't scratch as much. You have to make sure there's no fingerprints and stuff like that. But like
Yeah.
the Optichrome seemed to have more scratches.
That
Yeah,
and
for
that
sure.
for
And
sure.
dimples. Did you see
The
any
dimples.
dimples?
Yeah, I have two of my Zayt's have dimples, which
I have some dimples. Let me
yeah,
put it on the screen real quick. Be right back.
yeah. Yeah, at least two of my Zayt's have dimples. I had a lot of Aura Optichromes that when I looked through them, I had when it came to Aura, I did pretty good. Most of my Optichromes were in pretty great condition. Uh, and obviously I kept three and I sold a couple just to get what was I chasing at that time? Oh, it was the PSA 9 Omega. So I had to sell some, but overall, for my orders, my Optichromes is pretty good.
So let me change this light here.
Yeah.
So
Is it
if
on
you
the
look,
left side?
yeah, it's right above her shoulder, right under the word Fortnite. Let me see,
Oh yeah, I see it. I see it.
right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I got this card for, you can see it, but
Yep.
that's a good one. So
Yeah,
I
that's
got
a
that. I
good
got
hit.
that for like $10.
Yeah.
And because the guy, he's when I bought it, he gave me a refund of like, I think originally it was like 25 or 30, and he gave me a refund of like half
Half, yeah.
because I didn't realize there was a dimple in it, and so before I even got it, he
Yeah.
messaged me. He said, "Hey, there's a dimple in it. I'll give it to you for half if you still want it." I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine."
Huh.
So like, I'm not gonna sell her unless like
Yeah.
someone really wants it, but I keep it. So that's kind of what I'm talking about when setting those in. So I think the Optichrome will be harder. I
Mhm.
mean, they'll also be harder, but they're also like rare, right? They're more rare
Yeah.
than the hollows. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I
it'll be interesting. I can't wait to see what mine come back as. I'm not sure.
yeah. Because I mean, I'm big on Optichromes. I've always had that stance. I know a lot of people that really don't care about the Optichromes. Or I think you're one of them. You said they're kind of like, you know, I can't remember what you said. What did you say when it came to Optichromes? What was your standpoint on Optichromes in
I'm not
general?
gonna say I don't like them. I like
Hmm.
them. I do
Yeah.
like them. What my stance on them is they're not that different than the hollows,
You don't think
right?
so? Yeah.
No, I mean in like style wise,
Yeah.
right? There's like
Yeah.
no reason to collect both. If you had
Hmm.
a choice, the Optichrome is like a
Hmm.
better hollow.
Yeah.
Cracked ice is a different type of parallel, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess that was my point. I was saying like I get
Hmm.
they're both. I mean, I like both, but I like Optichrome more. I just don't
Yeah.
understand why in the set there's Optichrome and hollow.
Yeah. Yeah. See,
Does that make
like, and
sense?
yeah, no, that makes sense. Like for me, I think there's certain ones that really stand out, and then there's the ones that I agree with you with, where it was like, well, there's nothing that really separates it, technically. But like for instance, like Manic, Ultima Night, like Zadie and 8 Ball, the Optichrome end boss is like in the middle of their mask and like their helmet,
Oh yeah,
and so it looks better compared to a simple skin that where it's just kind of like a thick outline, if that makes sense.
yeah. And I mean, I just like the card in general. It's like more metallic-y. I don't know if that's
Right,
the right word.
right.
It's smoother. So I guess what I was saying wasn't based on the skin. It was just based on like the type of parallel.
Yeah, the aesthetic kind of.
So like,
Yeah,
I mean, they're adding more things into the set, but it's kind of like just choose between the hollows. You want Optichromes. Like
yeah,
let this be the hollow.
yeah, yeah,
Like
right, right, and
don't
then
make it
do
like
something.
Optichrome. Just make it this is the new hollow,
Right.
right? And then make it less confusing.
Yeah.
If you guys wanna, if you're not sure if you have a hollow or Optichrome, it's
Mhm.
really easy to tell if you look at the logos. They're 3D.
Yeah.
They're like embossed. Kind of.
Mhm.
If you go to fortnitecards.com, we have a guide. So in one of the menus, one of the resources, there's like a card identification guide, and
Yeah.
it kind of like zooms in so you can see the difference between the hollow and the Optichrome. If you weren't sure, but no, I wish they had chosen for Series 3 to go with either or, because now there's gonna be
Yeah.
like so many. It's like I feel like there's too many parallels already in like sports. Like I don't like that there's like a
Mhm.
red, a green, a blue,
I
a,
hate
ye-
that actually.
a
So,
yellow. It's like
yeah.
it's like they're already starting to do that. It's like come on. I was like I'm cool with the laser, like something different,
Yeah.
but I don't want just like a different type of I don't want another
Yeah.
hollow just more
Mhm.
shinier or
Mhm.
so
Because I guess that goes to what we were talking about last in our last episode, where it's like it's so hard to like really stack a true PC of a skin,
hmm
because you have that factor. Like for Series 2, the Optichrome and Hollow are very close in aesthetic. So you don't feel like you have like like a set. Like obviously you do if you have every parallel, but if it was a little bit more different, it would feel, it kind of give you
hmm
that feeling of finally completing a chase, or finally completing a master set of a specific skin slash card.
Yeah, so for my PC, right, when I had him, because I always change it. I take him, I put him in binders, I keep the sleeves
Yeah,
on, or then I'll
yeah.
put him in top loaders and look at them and just
Mhm.
figure out how I want. Whenever I'm messing with my collection, um, and when I used to have him in binders, I used to have like a whole aura page, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Then I had a whole page of like hollows, right? And then
Mhm.
next to this Optichrome or something, and it's not that big of a difference, right? They're just
Right.
shiny. But if you go cracked ice to hollow or like hollow to
Yeah.
like a laser, That would be
Yeah.
cool, like a whole page of laser, a whole page of hollows. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Um,
Mhm.
so I wish they just kinda get rid of the hollows and just kept the Optichrome, or
Mhm.
vice versa. I mean, I like the Optichrome, but,
Yeah.
I mean, it
And
just I don't know, it just makes it feel
yeah.
I mean, I guess a true set collector wants every type, but if you're looking at it, they don't look that different. That's why
Right.
we had to make that guide on the website because people couldn't even
Mhm.
tell at first. Like,
Yeah.
if you can't tell the difference that one's
That
it
shows you something. Yeah.
yeah, at least, like, the
Yeah.
general market, like, you have to know. It's like
Mhm.
so, it'll be interesting what the laser looks like because 'cause I've looked at, do I have any basketball lasers? I do, but not with me. I should have showed that.
Do do you think we'll ever get action shots?
Eventually,
Mhm.
I think they're right now, so these poses that they're
Yeah.
using is
Mhm.
already, graphics that, Fortnite or Epic Games has.
Right.
So they're utilizing a lot of their stuff that they already have. So, like, you
Mhm.
can search for that pose pretty much on, if you go to Google and, like, search for a Fortnite skin,
It's gonna pop up.
9 times out of 10, you get a pose that's
Yeah.
already, like, high quality and is transparent on the background.
Right.
Like, it's really weird. So, like, even when we use stuff for, like, our websites or our Instagram posts, finding the, like, that kinda stuff like, someone in the Facebook group made their custom cards.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's how he was able to do it so easily is probably just finding the poses online, is they're, like,
Yeah.
readily available.
Getting those
Um,
PNGs and just,
so I think I'm not Epic, I think Panini is gonna
Mhm.
spend as little time, like, customizing those, like, artistic pieces like that because
Yeah.
they have to design the whole card, right? So there's, like,
Right.
graphic design and there's illustration,
Mhm.
and I think they're gonna try to utilize, like, shots from the game,
Yeah.
they're gonna utilize whatever the Epic Games has.
Yeah.
That's what I think is gonna happen. I don't think we're gonna see anything, like, super custom.
Mhm. So you don't like, do you think we'll ever get a legit insert? So, obviously Panini right now are known for, like, in sports, like their downtowns and their
Mhm.
kabooms. Kaboom is like through the roof at this point. Do you think we'll get like a specific insert where, just based off of what you said,
Mhm.
it may take a couple more steps to have an action shot. So if you kind of make a short print insert,
Or
could that possibly give a
not
better
even
opportunity?
not even short print, I think we need to get to the point where Fortnite's worth it to them,
Right. Right.
right? So, like, sports is worth it for them to do that extra steps
Mhm.
to design that set.
Mhm.
Their first couple, they were using those materials to try to gauge interest, and I think they know the
Yeah.
interest is there.
Yeah.
Um, the question is I don't think the question is, will they ever? I'm sure they're gonna try lots of things.
Right.
I think the question is, how long till we see something like that?
Mhm.
Um, I mean, even if you look at so if you go to paniniamerica.com, I think it is, and you
Yeah.
can kinda see the preview of the cards,
Yeah.
and maybe we can throw up some screenshots on here.
Yeah.
Look
Let's
down
see.
or up, and we can do them later.
Yeah.
But you guys look
Permanently.
down or up, and we'll throw up some of the screenshots here, and, maybe we'll go to the website and look. And
Yeah.
so if you look at them, they're pretty I wanna say they're kind of like just kinda like the stances are generic, like you said, even
Mhm.
more so than before,
Yeah.
almost. And I don't know if these are final designs.
Mhm.
So since they kinda, like, stepped back and they haven't released it, I think
Yeah.
they're still messing with the designs, and that's gonna change.
Mhm.
Um, so I don't think we're gonna see that yet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's interesting because when it comes to what they could do, like, we've talked about Reloaded and kind of the gems that Reloaded has in that set. That set has a lot of different, yeah, like that hollow of the loading screen is absolutely beautiful, and that's fan art on top of that. That's what makes it 10
Mhm.
times better.
Now,
So,
they 100% can easily do that. That goes into what I
yeah.
was saying, right?
Mhm.
So those they didn't Panini didn't make those. If you guys are
Right.
wondering, those are loading screens that Epic Games commissioned from
Yes.
artists.
Mhm.
So all the loading screens that you see are either made by Epic or like freelance artists.
Mhm.
And I love the loading screens.
Yeah.
Those are the action shots you're talking about.
Yes.
and I
That's
really hope they bring those back.
yeah,
I don't know why
because
they haven't.
yeah, and then also on top of that, like those loading screens tell the story. Like, you know,
They can, yeah.
well, most yeah, like you said, they can.
Mhm.
Most of them are, you know, they come from the battle pass or when an event happens, A, B, and C. They can tell a story, which allows that audience, the new audience that may haven't played the game or played the game and didn't follow the story, it kind of allows them to connect pieces that kind of may be missing, or you know, give them an opportunity to look at a different angle when it comes to a specific skin or card. You know, it kind of opens your aspect of what you can chase in that manner.
Yeah, so, I mean, they added the so for Series 3, you have, the wrap cards, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's like, I don't understand why they went in that direction. It's like, you have
yeah.
all these loading screens
Mhm,
with all this, like, amazing artwork that
mhm.
looks amazing holographic, and you wanna use wraps, and now the
Yeah.
wraps in the game, for those who don't know, you can customize, like, the paint on your weapons and your
Mhm,
vehicles, and
mhm.
some of that paint is like, it's not just like red, it's like kind of like wallpaper. That's what they call it.
Right,
Wraps. It's like basically applying a wallpaper to a gun or a
right.
boat or a car. And it'll be interesting to see what the what they put, but on the card,
Yeah.
um I don't have my hopes set high.
Yeah, like I
I
I
don't know
was
what they could do. This says
yeah,
double-sided wrap cards.
yeah,
I'd much rather have. I mean, I haven't seen it yet, right? So
yeah,
maybe they look amazing
mhm,
and they're cool, but I don't see how they could do that. I'd much rather have a loading screen that was like
100%.
holographic.
Yeah, yeah, because I mean, with the loading screens, you know, like for instance, when Midas had, you know, Midas and actually not even to single out, there is like well over 500 loading screens, and they are it's amazing artwork. It really is. Like it's
hmm
amazing artwork, and it's some that's just eye catching, and some of those were in Reloaded. Uh, and I'm hoping that that comes out. Like even I think of one off the top of my head where Bright Bomber first met Dark Bomber, like when she touched the cube, when she touched Kevin, right?
hmm
That's a great loading screen. That's a great loading screen. I would love to see that in like a hollow card or any other, you know, different way they want to create that card. But I would love to see that for sure.
I think that now that you mention it, like the loading screen cards from Reloaded, not
Hmm.
out of a value, right? Because no one's paying anything for them.
Yeah,
They are they're my favorite cards.
yeah.
Um, Probably for sure. Like how cool is this rocket
That,
ride?
and it
So
symbolizes something. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
we should break this down.
Yeah.
So back in chapter one, I know I'm talking over my mic right now, but sorry, the light's not that great. In chapter one, um, players found out that if you shoot the rocket and if your teammate jumps, like if your teammate's standing in front of you and
Hmm.
he jumps right as you shoot the rocket, he can literally land on top of the rocket like a and
Yeah.
like just fly through the sky on a explosive rocket at the enemy.
Literally,
And then
almost from point A to point B on the
yeah, and
rocket.
so this person here is literally on a rocket that someone shot with a rocket launcher in their hands. Now
A
this is a
pumpkin launcher at that.
yeah, this is artistic though, right? Because
Yeah.
like really, it's I mean the size is different, right?
Yeah.
But it's just the artist's take on it. But that's one of my favorite cards because of that fact, and that's the
Yeah.
in-game story that you might not know. You might just think it's
Yeah.
cool drawing. Um, and this is the other one that I like a lot. I think I've showed these before,
Yeah.
but I just really like the artwork on this one.
Now that was season 7 when the snowboards came out, right?
I think so. Yeah, it had
Yeah.
to with all the
Chapter
snow.
1, season 7, that is. Yeah, and so when those came out, that was just another era. Like I've brought it up before. Season 7, chapter 1, season 7 was probably one of the most complete seasons, as in what you can do, the meta. And what I mean by meta is just kind of the way you run throughout the game, something that everybody has to use to, counter their competition or their enemy. Let's say that. Like,
Mhm.
um, my favorite meta was Deagle Shotgun. Deagle Shotgun was just next level for me. Like that was hands down my favorite meta, and I was wearing triple threat during that time. So that's why I wanted to have the triple threat skin, just because that was a skin that I was wearing consistently during the Deagle pump meta.
Just
Yeah,
as you're
like Dire.
just as you're talking, this was Dire was season 6, but
Yeah.
these moving cards from Reloaded are crazy.
uh,
So,
uh,
Reload is super I wanna say it's undervalued, but I think we need to talk about
Talk about it. Yeah.
I think we need to talk about the market because as I'm going through Facebook posts, as I'm going through eBay, um, it gets me thinking, like, not all these cards are gonna stay this high. I
Yeah.
know we're in a down market, but if you look at sports, when I get into sports cards, I was like, we go look at Allen Iverson. It's like I know his card's gonna be like out of reach, right? And it's gonna be super
Right.
expensive. And I go and I look, and they weren't
They're
that
not.
bad.
Yeah.
This was like 20. This is right before COVID and the huge like
Yeah.
explosiveness of cards. But compared to like some of the other greats, Allen Iverson is like a Hall of
Extremely
Famer.
underrated.
He's like
Yeah.
one of the most popular. He changed the game. You know,
Mhm.
he changed basketball
Yeah.
for people, and just like the culture, just be able to wear whatever you want to the
Yeah.
games. Like
Yeah.
he went against the status quo, and like he's big, right? He had
Yeah.
like a following. Um, for his cards to be priced that way, I was like so surprised, and I think that some of the Fortnite cards need to go in that direction. So right
Mhm.
now, it's like if it's not a huge one, so let's go with USA Series One, like cracked ice, right?
Yeah.
Like if it's not a huge like Black Knight, right?
Mhm.
And then people don't want it, people are still listing them for like $200.
Right.
They're like trying to get $200, and then you'll find that a lot of people aren't buying. I mean, for a while
Mhm.
there, when there was no USA shards and one would pop up for $100, people would snag it, you
Mhm.
know. But once there's a couple up there, people are like, I don't really want that one though.
Yeah.
And it's like for
Yeah.
like $200 for a card you don't want, you know.
Mhm.
I think those prices are still going to go down. Now,
Mhm.
like the major ones, like Black Knight is like Charizard, like big,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, so like, I'm not talking about that one, but I think that some of these lower tier cards are not worth as much
Right.
and need to come down. And probably even some of the ones that I thought were going to be huge.
Mhm.
If you look at like the sports market, like not everything's going to be
Right.
like we're talking $100,000 card, right?
Yeah.
Not everything's gonna be like that. Not everything's gonna be a $20,000 card.
Mhm.
Like it was for a really good player, a really good card could sit between 500 to $1,000 in sports, right?
Yeah.
Like I can get a really good Allen Iverson card for like $1,000,
Right.
like a really good one.
Mhm.
So I think we need to really talk about like, are we like some of these people need to think that we're also collectors. We need to start talking about too the collectors, and I
Mhm.
think Reloaded needs to get some love
For
because
sure.
these other ones are they're too expensive, and just because these are from the UK or Italy print,
Mhm.
um, I think they're amazing cards, and I think that a lot of the US ones are overpriced.
See, and on top of that, like if I was to take all the sets that came out, Series 1, Series 2, Reloaded, right? And I was to create the best possible set ever, it would be the Series 1 cracked ice USA print just based off aesthetic, right?
Mhm,
Then I would put, if I had to go with the parallel after that, it would be the Optichrome, right?
mhm,
Then you obviously have the base or whatever. But I'm hands down putting the event cards and the loading screens to complete that set. I think in Reloaded, the loading screens, the event cards are absolutely phenomenal. The moving cards, you
mhm,
have maybe not, like you said, maybe not every moving card, but there's certain moving cards that could possibly be really great just overall for collecting.
mhm,
And just the vintage look that Reloaded has, I'm very interested in it. I don't even have clothes. I don't have a complete set of Reloaded at all, but I'm definitely interested in having that. And if I was to double up on anything, it would definitely be the loading screens for sure.
Yeah, so I bought a complete set
Mhm.
before, like, a long time ago. When they first
Yeah.
came out, I found a complete set for sale for $100 on eBay, and I bought it.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's still around that price.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
is. It's close
But
to it.
when you get a complete set off eBay, right? Like a lot of the cards are like mangled, like
Mhm.
they're like bad. So like I started buying packs, and like I really like the hollows. I like some of the event cards, like you said, um, and I like the moving cards and the glow in the dark cards.
Yes.
So it's like I don't know if we're talking like investment. Like I don't know if these are gonna
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
these aren't gonna be the next Peely. Maybe they are. I don't know, but I wanted them, right? And
Yeah.
I would trade like if someone had like a let's say let's go with one like people like, or I don't know if they still like, but Autumn Crane, right?
Uh-huh.
I
Oh, you gonna
would
piss people off with this one.
I would trade an Autumn Crane cracked ice for a clean copy of this card. Sorry. Like if the corners were good and the whitening, I would trade it. I would
Oh
trade
my
it.
goodness.
Like if we're talking trades, right? Now
Yeah,
if
yeah,
someone's gonna pay me
yeah,
$1,000 for Autumn Crane, I'll just take that and go buy some of these.
right.
But I'm just saying, like if we were trading any day, like, if I went to a shop and said, "You have to pick 1 card," I'd rather pick some of these reloaded cards over some of these cracked ice cards.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Personally, as that's from, like, collecting wise,
From
right?
collecting wise, yeah, you're
Yeah.
just talking about personal preference. Like,
I'm not talking about the current market, like, you could
right.
probably make more you definitely can make more money selling cracked ice of
See,
anyone besides the reloaded.
but what you said was that was really important right there is you were talking about from the collecting aspect, not the investing. Like, and
Mhm.
there
But th
is, yeah, go
there's
ahead.
correlation, right?
Yeah,
Like you're
for
saying, so,
sure.
like, if you're only looking at what's, like, worth money now, you're missing it, like,
Mm-hmm.
you wanna be thinking about what are people gonna collect in 5, 10 years.
Uh-huh.
Um, in 5 to 10 years, I think these are gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's
I we made an Instagram post, right? And we were talking about what's more important, the popularity or the print run.
uh-huh.
And I'm the one who put the post up there, and I was saying popularity is more important, right?
Yeah.
Now I will say that for Reloaded, there didn't seem to be any rhyme or reason for how many hollows, how many event cards there were.
Uh-huh.
Maybe a little bit, but not really. Um, you can pull a lot of hollows, like a
Yeah.
lot. Um, but at the same time, if in 5 to 10 years, if people aren't searching for that skin that you invested in,
Uh-huh.
like no one's it's not gonna be worth anything because no one's gonna be wanting to buy it, right?
Yeah.
So you want to be looking at like what's actually collectible and what's actually like, piques people's interest.
Uh-huh.
So I don't know.
I guess and another just adding on to that is I guess that would fall into two categories, right? It'd be are you because I guess it's like why are you in the market? Because if you're in the market, based off let's just say the potential, then for sure you have to like, kind of pay attention to the popularity of skins because I mean, in my personal opinion, I've always said I feel like in series one, without naming them, we can do that eventually, but in series one, there's probably 10 to 12 that's solidified as top. And then in series two will break that top 10. It'll break that top
Hmm.
10. Like there's certain cards that'll break that top 10, but there's certain cards that's gonna always have popularity, that's gonna always have nostalgia, that's always gonna be considered OG and kind of become blue chip. And then there's other ones that may be popular right now that may fall off, absolute cliff. And so if you're going based off of potential, you definitely might want to pay attention to those things, and then,
Yeah,
you know, you'll see how that play out down the road.
yeah. It's just really interesting looking at the like the prices, right? And it's like since I've been buying cards so
Uh-huh.
much in the last 2 years, I mean, it was really hard for me to try to buy Allen Iverson cards. Like to give you guys an example, like there was a Allen Iverson Topps Chrome rookie.
Uh-huh.
It was like his best look. It was his best card that people
Yes.
wanted. And before COVID, it was about it was on there for like $300.
Yeah.
And I had it in my cart, and I was like, "That's too much money to spend on a card. Too much money to spend on a card." Because I was just getting into collecting
Yeah.
cards, and And then I just watched as COVID happened, and as months by, it was up to sold as much as like $2,000.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was kicking myself in the foot. And I was like, I can't believe this. It's like I could have got that for $300.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're at now, but
Mhm.
we already have Fortnite cards worth that. I mean, are they going
Like,
to just kind of like stay this like some of these? I'm not saying all of them. Some of them are gonna
mhm.
like grow, but like
Yeah.
trying to think. I'm trying to think of one particular.
What that could possibly grow.
Well, I'm trying to think of one that could possibly like stay. Like it's hit its max. And I don't know. I mean, we have so many players and there's so few cards, but there's
Mhm.
few basketball cards too. Like
Yeah.
I think for like graded Allen Iverson, some of them were as low as like in the 30 range,
Mhm.
like 30 graded, 35 graded. So even like autos and stuff, like the ones that are like numbered and stuff. Um,
Yeah.
all right, so like I have a John Wall rookie, one of
Mhm.
one
Mhm.
that I've showed you before.
Yeah.
And let's say I don't how many John Wall fans are there? I mean, I've seen like whole Instagram posts. I mean, whole
Mhm.
Instagram pages with like 50,000 followers.
Yeah.
You know, um, and I bought that for like 300. I have it listed for like 500,
Right.
and it hasn't sold, and it's been listed for a few months. I had
Yeah.
some offers in like around the 200 range.
Mhm.
So it's just things to keep in mind. It's like if you're looking to like flip and stuff like that, and if you're not collecting because you enjoy it,
Yeah.
this is not guaranteed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know that the prices are going to keep going up,
Mhm.
and I'm fine with that because the way I buy and sell, I'm in
Yeah.
a position where I kind of stay at like a happy medium,
Yeah.
like kind of like you,
Mhm.
like you'll sell some cards to buy the card
Yep.
you want, right?
Mhm.
I'm not taking out loans and buying a Black Knight. I'm
Right.
not, and
Right.
um, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I believe in these. Like, I think these have crazy potential. I
Mhm.
don't know if there's anybody that believes in Fortnite cards more than me,
Mhm. Mhm.
but I'm saying there's doesn't mean it's going to happen.
Right.
Like, you have to be a little bit pessimistic and, like, be
Right.
realistic, and it's like,
Right.
the market could do anything. Kids might not c there might not
But
be as many collectors looking for a Bright Bomber. Someone
yes,
listed a Bright Bomber in the Facebook group for $1,000, a PSA 9
and
USA.
nobody took it.
And I was thinking about it, it's like, I think that's cheap, but
That's a yeah.
at the same time that I think that's cheap, I'm not, like, rushing to do stuff to make moves to get it. And I don't have a
Right.
Bright Bomber USA. I have a Dark
Mhm.
Bomber USA. I have a few Italy cracked ice Bright Bombers, but I could use a USA. I would want one.
Yeah.
At what price would I go to buy one? I'm not 100% sure. There's just so many different cards out there
Uh-huh.
that not everything can be in the $1,000 range.
And that's yeah, and that's very true. Like for instance, I've said this before. Uh, I think Skull Trooper gets a bad rep because people did with Skull Trooper what they did with Black Knight, but Black Knight was already the certified number one. People graded Skull Trooper early because a lot of
Mhm.
people caught on. It's Skull Trooper,
Yeah.
but then his pop report got high, and then the PSA nines, the PSA 10 comparison, and I feel like if anything, the past couple sales that I've seen of Skull Trooper, I'm like, that actually was a pretty good deal. I think this was a little low, and
Mhm.
I
I've
think,
s
yeah,
I've seen a couple that seem pretty low, but at the same
mhm,
time, I mean, I guess if I had the money, I would have snagged them, but
right,
I wasn't, like, moving stuff to get to them.
right. How many And I know, like, if it's something that you're kind of waiting to get, don't say it, obviously, but I
Mhm.
know you're pretty set. How many cards or skins are like that for you that you're going to shift things around to get right now, whether it's a PSA 10, PSA 9, or something that you just don't have yet? How many are on that list?
Let's see. I mean, we all know Aura for me, right?
Mhm.
I've moved stuff of like, if vanilla Aura pops up for, like, 3 to $400 cracked
Yeah,
ice, raw,
yeah,
I try to move some stuff to get to it.
yeah.
Ghoul Trooper cracked ice because I don't have a USA one.
Mm,
And see, I don't have a USA Skull Trooper cracked ice. I have an Italy one.
yeah.
Um, And I don't know, I mean, I don't know if it's just because 'cause I'm partial to the female skins. Like,
Right.
I want a Skull Trooper, but he's definitely one of the ones I'm not, like, dying.
Yeah.
But, to be if I'm being 100% honest, Black Knight's the same way too.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah,
I
you
kinda
told
I
me that.
yeah, I'd want one. I wanna hit one. Like, I'll buy
Mhm.
a mega box trying to hit it,
Yeah.
but
Now
I'm not moving stuff because I don't wear the Black Knight, so,
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
it's tricky on that one.
I'm definitely on the opposite side of that one because Black Knight for me, I get because I agree with the aspect of if I was to have the Black Knight, I wouldn't wear the Black Knight just based off of because not really wearing that many male skins. But at the time of like if we're factoring in nostalgia, like I was like, yo, I want that Black Knight shield so bad. Like the Black Knight shield, like I had skins ready. I'm like, this would be perfect. Like I was like almost building like my based off of like this was gonna be this one time Fortnite releases it for one day and I get the
Mhm.
Black Knight shield. I was basing everything off of that. And whether it's mental or just based off a game, like I'm like, wow, like it'll be things like Manic with the Black Knight Shield. So the Black Knight Shield represents to me more than anything, but I just connect that to Black Knight. So I do hold Black Knight very high in that manner, just based off a nostalgia aspect. But I get what you're saying. Though. I get what you're
Yeah,
saying.
no, I
So
mean, and
yeah,
that's fine. That's just me personally, like,
yeah,
I wanted to hit it because it was such a big card,
yeah.
um, but I never wore it. I never got the Black Knight, so
Hmm.
it wasn't as it's not as big as a chase for me.
Hmm.
I
Right.
still want it. Like, I want it even if I get an Italy cracked ice or USA one. I don't know how I ever get a USA one. I was hoping it was in that packs that I bought on
Yeah,
eBay that didn't come.
yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know.
I'll tell you this, like it'll be for me. I was thinking about this though, like what's my list, right? Like
Mhm.
what's my list? And it's crazy because like when I did eventually get my hands on a luck cracked ice, I didn't know what to do after that. I think I said that before. Like
Mhm.
I was very confused. I'm like,
Get
what
more.
now? Like, yeah, and so and then I got the Omega. I got the Omega USA print, cracked ice, and that was a major one for me just based off that was my first tier 100. But then after that, I feel like right now I would be forcing the connection if that makes sense. Like I'm
Yep.
I'm pretty comfortable right
I
now. Like
like that.
I'm,
I
you
liked
know,
what you just said there. We should
yeah,
emphasize that for people.
okay, yeah,
Forcing. You said you feel like you're forcing what you're collecting.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I get that.
yeah,
Um, that's a like, if I went out and got a Manic right now, I'd be forcing,
forcing it, right,
um
right,
that's a very good point, and no, and I'm not saying that these cards, because Fortnite's really weird, right? Because
uh,
someone posted there's, like, 350 million active players, right?
yeah, yeah, I seen that,
And so, let's say there's, like, skins that, like, let's say someone wears this there's, like, at minimum, let's say there's 5,000 people that wear
hmm,
an unknown skin all the time. Like, they're true
right,
fans of that skin, like, say 5,000,
yeah,
right? And let's say, what, 10% of those go into heavy collecting, so, like,
hmm.
500 people. So, that card could I mean, these cards could still all go up really high.
That's a great the way you broke. I get where you're going with that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
because
they could go up really
yeah,
high. I was just saying based on o other card markets that have major fans, like, I don't know what how many, basketball fans there are. I don't know the statistics that
yeah.
make it into how many card
See,
collectors there are. I don't know that. I don't know the
yeah.
statistics. I'm guessing there's more Fortnite players than there are. I'm I mean, that's pretty obvious.
So you know how they do the in basketball. Sorry, yeah, we both love we both love basketball, so it's going to be a lot of basketball references here. But the jersey sales, the jersey
Mhm,
sales is a it may not be guaranteed, but it shows you kind of the popularity of that year.
mhm.
Whether it's
Per player.
step,
Yeah,
yeah,
which player is the most popular? Yeah.
right. And so
Steph and
like
KD.
exactly. I think once Fortnite eventually it's been in talks for a while, but they never have. I think once they put in how much you wear a skin, like they actually show the stats for your personal locker.
Mhm.
Like it's like, okay, you wear red jade. this much, X amount
Yeah.
of times, right? And it's like I think a lot of people will start showing that, and that's when certain skins will become more popular in that aspect. But it's a lot of things that can make it go. But a point that you made that was really important is because it's funny. Like if you ask my brother, when I'm playing the game and I see another Lux, it actually pisses me off. I'm like, why are they why are they wearing this? This
I
is this is my
I do that
skin.
with
Like,
Aura.
yeah,
I destroyed a duo both wearing Aura, and I wasn't even wearing Aura at the time. I was like, "Hell no." Or if, like,
yeah,
they're wearing my skin,
yeah,
like, someone was
yeah,
wearing my minty Aura skin.
yeah.
I was like, "Oh, no.
No, this is
You
not
gotta get
happening.
eliminated, like,
Yeah,
today, like,
yeah,
right now."
yeah. Like
So,
in
I
the
feel that, I
card
feel that.
market, yeah, in the card market, it's like, oh yeah, you got the Lux too. But in the game, I'm like, nah, that's not going down. Not this way.
Yeah,
I
and
can
so
die after this.
I guess when we're comparing, I'm just trying to get an idea, like, because no one can see the future. So we're looking at sports, we're looking at Pokemon, we're looking at everything, right? Just to get an
Yeah,
idea. And I mean, these cards could all go up because people
hmm,
are connected to the skins differently. Like,
yeah,
we're connected to the skins differently than you're connected to a basketball player.
right,
I mean, for some people, those sports players, those are idols that change people's lives.
yeah,
But I think there's more kids who come home without any friends who are playing Fortnite
yes,
and have more connection um, than
yeah,
like sports. Um,
uh-huh,
so I think the potential is there. I just wanted to mention that it's not guaranteed, and that these
uh-huh,
prices are extremely high for a card collecting hobby.
uh-huh, uh-huh,
Like, seriously, like, soccer doesn't get these types of prices.
right,
Hockey doesn't.
yeah, yeah,
Um, I mean, there's some that sell for like, but I mean, hockey's been around for like, for a long time. So there's like one or two cards I think
uh-huh,
have like crazy numbers, but like the general product does not sell. Like the individual cards, rookie
yeah,
cards do
because
not
you
sell
got
like these.
because you got like the Wayne Gretzky's, the Sidney
Hmm.
Crosby's,
Yeah, the
Connor
all-time greats.
McDavid's, yeah,
Yeah.
you got the baby goats in there,
Hmm.
A, B, and C.
But nothing. Those
Yeah,
don't sell. Like the hockey stuff does not sell this quickly like Fortnite did. Like it took them a while to get soccer too. It took
uh-huh.
them a while for the soccer cards to even get into the market.
So you just said something that triggered something for me. Do you think so? When I feel with hockey, basketball recovered a lot different than hockey did.
Hmm.
But the fear of the junk wax era, right?
Hmm.
The junk wax era, where the '90s it was so mass produced that it just pretty much folded. The market folded.
Yep.
So obviously we had this major run of 2018, 2019, 2020 with the pandemic. Um, I think we had our first original gut check a couple months ago when cards started dropping in price. Like when like when cracked ice started popping up, like you said, like
Hmm.
originally you didn't see Series One cracked ice for what was it, months? It was literally months. You just did not
Yeah. Well,
see.
I'll say there was months that I didn't see Italy or USA cracked ice over certain cards. So like
Yeah,
Gold Trooper, there was months I
yeah,
waited for Gold Trooper cracked ice to come to the market.
yeah,
Um, yeah, no, and the other thing that you have to remember is like our Facebook group, excuse me, it's only 2,000
yeah,
people.
yeah.
Um, and the hobby isn't that big yet, right?
Hmm.
But the reason why prices have shot up is because even though it's not that big, there's so few cards printed, like cracked ice,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know? And that's what and I think going forward, it's like I'm not really worried about a junk era. Um,
Hmm.
look at Pokemon, right?
Hmm.
Has anyone talked about I don't follow it too closely, but I haven't heard of any like junk era Pokemon.
No, no,
And
and
they overprint their stuff more than like bread. I mean,
yeah.
it's like packs and packs. You never hear people complain about that.
Well, and I think the reason why I brought up the junk era is because of the way people store like the mentality of how they collected was like how they stored their cards. Like for instance, they used to put them in the binders without the penny sleeves. Like
They used to throw
grading
them in a box.
grading wasn't a thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grading wasn't. I think it wasn't until a couple years later that that came into play. But the reason why I brought that up is I feel like that shift of kind of how we look at the actual Fortnite. trading
Mhm.
cards, Fortnite cards, right? The actual Fortnite cards is gonna change, like you said, like people are going to start opening their eyes to different angles and stuff like that because some prices are too high. So you're going to start having to trickle down and kind of find different entryways to certain cards. And I think it goes to what you said before, where it's like, oh, you're overlooking Italy, you're overlooking the Brazil print, and
Mhm.
that might come to hunt you down the road when you could have got your hands on that card in a different print that still has the same effect, just a different price range.
Yeah, and you know what? Getting back to Reloaded and how there's like the conditioning and stuff. That reminds
Mhm.
me of like great basketball cards from the junk era,
Mhm.
right? Because
PMGs.
it's so hard to get.
Mhm.
It's so hard to get a really good card for like a MJ card.
Yeah.
Like it's like any kind of like people just collected them, but they didn't like take care of them. So
Meta
and the Reloaded is
Mhm.
like that, right? So like, yeah, someone might have that, but but I have a PSA 10,
Yeah.
and so those are the cards that gonna be worth a lot of money.
So so based off of what you just said, it's kind of gonna bring this our whole topic full circle, right?
Mhm.
So I talk about this a lot, the precious metal gems inserts from the 90s.
Mhm.
Originally, Beckett magazine graded that like a 2.5 out of 5, right? The
Mhm.
set was originally considered terrible, like
Yep.
condition wise, and it just didn't do what it's doing now. And then nostalgia and missed opportunities kicked in when it came back, right?
And
Yeah,
taste. And
and
taste
taste,
change.
yes, because now
Mhm.
those were 90s collectors that were originally kids or that originally collected at that time, and they're coming back like this was actually an amazing piece of artwork. That's literally what's said about the PMGs. Like, I haven't seen, a card orchestrated this way, since the 90s. And so then a PSA 4, a PSA 7, a PSA 6
Mhm.
is now great value because the conditions were so bad that and the chipping was so bad around the corners that it eventually made that whole sector of cards that much more amazing. And I can see something, maybe not that drastic, but I can see people kind of turning their head back to Reloaded with and being like, wait a second, actually, this is a pretty interesting set overall, even if it's just collecting.
Yeah, I'm 100% down with that. I think that's big. I think if you think about it, so like if you guys have Reloaded cards,
Mhm.
how do you store them? Do you store them the same way you store your other ones? I'm really curious, right? Because that
That's a
plays
great
into it
point.
too. And it's like,
Yeah.
I bet you don't. I bet you store them a little bit differently and
Hmm.
a little less care, kind of like thrown in the
Hmm.
box, just like the way they came.
Yeah.
Um, so no, I think that when have you ever heard a rapper talk about their first album?
Yeah.
So like I was listening to Logic, and
Yeah.
like one of his like latest songs, he was talking about his first album,
Yeah.
and then in his verse, he's talking about how when he made that album,
Mhm.
people hated it,
Yeah.
and now it's a classic, and they want him to go back.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good analogy, right? It's people
Mhm.
hate Reloaded, but in 5 years, and be like, man, Reloaded was a classic set. Oh, you didn't hear about
Yeah.
that? Yeah, that was only in the
Yeah.
UK. You had to order that separate.
Yeah.
You couldn't
Yeah.
find it in the stores.
Mhm. Mhm.
You had to
Yeah.
be hip. You had to know where to get
You had
those.
to know. Yeah.
So
And
I could see that happening. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I could see that
mhm.
happening. That's a good point, and they're fun to open.
And I don't I wanted more of these, so I didn't, and I mean, it's Reloaded. But anyway,
Yeah,
like
I
a
don't know.
PSA,
I don't know think people are gonna run to the store
yeah,
and buy these, but I'm gonna
yeah,
run to eBay.
like a PSA 10 Renegade Raider
Mhm.
down the road, because nobody would send that in right now.
I
Like,
mean, I would.
yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah,
But
it's
only
a
me.
rookie card.
I sent in some, but not did I send any Renegade Raiders? I kept buying boxes. I bought some from eBay, but they never came in like a tin
Yeah,
condition. So
yeah,
I bought boxes for a little while, and I was trying to open like hit some. I have like 10 Renegade Raiders. I have a whole.
yeah,
I put them in a binder. I have a whole page, and
yeah.
I was looking through them. And it's like I don't think any of those are gonna get a 10. And then
Mm,
I was looking at the Black Knights too, and I think I sent in a Black Knight, but there's one Black Knight on eBay that's a PS. It's a mm, BGS 9.5
Mhm.
Reloaded. It was first like I think it first put up to like either 50,000 or 25,000. I think
Yeah, yeah,
it's down to like 6 or 7,000 now.
yeah,
And I that whoever's selling that, whoever has that, I mean, they have the right idea. I wouldn't let that
yeah,
go.
yeah. Because they
That's
know.
I
They
think a
know.
reloaded Black Knight 10 or BGS 9.5 is definitely rarer than a Black
No.
Knight
Also,
Hollow.
yeah,
A Black Knight
it
Hollow.
it has that, like, that's the one. It has a red background, right?
Yeah. And you want
Yeah,
me to go grab some? I have some.
yeah. So that red background, I love the red background on the Black Knight. And if you want me to be honest, I did want the Shard, like the Series One Black Knight, to have a red background. I do like the blue. It looks really clean. But like if it had red, I think it would. I would have liked it even more. So just the red reloaded, and we wanted to kind of shine light on a different set. I mean, a lot of times we hear a lot of conversations about, S1 and S2 and, the top cards and these sales. But Reloaded is a very great set. And we just kind of wanted to bring light to that. And hopefully you appreciate the full Fortnite market, in general. And there's a lot of different cards uh, that you can collect, overall. So
And
like,
I think there's gonna be a lot
yep,
more cards that you're gonna be able to collect
yeah,
going forward too, right? I remember we used to talk. I know I'm away from the mic. I remember we used to talk and we used to say, what if they do like a different set? So like
yeah.
January they do series 3, what if in like
Mhm.
June they do like
Mhm.
precious metals Fortnite or
Yeah.
risky reels Fortnite?
Yeah.
That would be cool. And I don't know what I'd do with my Block Knights.
See, like even like this, like I just had to grab this one. This is like a Gold Trooper. It's an off brand. It's not licensed. I promise you, y'all. I'm gonna get the camera to show the cards cleaner. I got you. I promise. That's coming. That's coming. Just keep liking and subscribing.
Yeah. If you
this,
haven't yet, stop the video, go like,
yeah, yeah,
subscribe, follow.
yeah. But this one has the save. This and it's crazy. This one has the save the world uh back on it. The original that's actually on the game as well. So
Oh,
I like I like
those are
all the
those
cards.
bootleg ones, right?
Yeah, yeah, I like it.
So this is one of my candidates to send in, and I'm gonna have to
See that card? It looks a little clean, honestly.
I'm picky. This is my clean one.
Yeah,
I got this after I sent in my cards.
yeah,
It is pretty clean, but I don't know if it's gonna tin or not.
right.
I think this is probably
X
this is probably better condition than when I sit in.
that red, dude, man. I'm telling you, I don't know if you heard me, but I was saying how I wish it was red. Then you got the Renegade. Yep.
And I have a couple of those. And
You
then
show that Midas.
how how'd you know I had them in my hand next? That
Those are two rookie cards right there. Just the way you can think.
this is
Like the
the
glow in the
glow in the
dark.
dark.
You know the
I wonder if this will show up. We're gonna test this real quick.
hold on.
I'm gonna I wonder if we could turn off the lights and see if that would show up. Now Midas is interesting, right? The Midas Reloaded.
Yeah.
It's the first. It's like you said, the rookie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, if that's worth more, I don't know. That's a good question. It's a
Because
really good question.
you know how technically 86, 87 it wasn't Jordan's rookie year,
Yeah.
and then Jordan has that, what is it, the sticker? It's the sticker or something that people debate which one is the rookie card. And I can
Hmm.
kind of see something like that happening eventually, with at
And
least one of them.
that's the thing you don't know, right? Because you don't know how
Yeah,
the market's going to perceive any of that,
right,
and you
right.
don't. It's going to change. Yeah, because I mean, the hobby's really small right now,
Uh-huh.
and once it gets big, so like what we say couldn't matter.
Yeah,
Once like 20,000 more people come into this
yeah,
hobby,
yeah.
all the opinions could change. It's like,
Uh-huh.
no, I want the one that came out first. I want the
Uh-huh.
first Midas. I want the first Aura.
Uh-huh.
I mean, Series 1 is like you're set in stone if you have USA. That's they're
Yeah.
the first skins, but there's a lot of cards in Reloaded that came out before Series 2.
Uh-huh.
Aura, for instance. you
Yep,
know?
or
Um, Now there's no hollow or cracked ice of aura. Yeah, there's
yeah,
aura. And, so I know it's really interesting. It's an
some
interesting
extra.
set.
Also, I like this one too. Waypoint.
Yeah, you
Waypoint.
said that before. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
I really like this. I've played with Waypoint for Breakpoint. I'm sorry, this is the Breakpoint one. I played with Breakpoint for probably a couple weeks, and then I went back to Lux. But that's besides the point. I really do like Breakpoint though,
I'm gonna try to see if this
especially
will glow
at
in the
first.
dark
Yeah,
for you guys. I don't know if it will. So now I have my other light
nah.
on. Let me go turn the other light off. It'll be interesting to see if this
For
works.
the content. Then you know I had to have Lux. I have a lot of these though. Most of them are in awful condition, but I think I have one or two that's in pretty good condition.
All right, I'm back. Let's see. Give this card some light.
Let's see if you got this. A1
It's
content
it-
if you could
it's
show that they glow in
it's
the
pretty
dark.
it's pretty dark in here.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I put it in the light.
Yep.
That might be the best glow in the
That's
dark.
so sweet, yo.
That might be the
Like,
best you guys will ever see of these because you can't see them in the pictures on eBay.
yeah. Like that also like
Here's one more glow
do
in
it
the
again.
dark.
Yeah.
Let's see how this blue one works.
Skull Ranger.
I mean
So
that's pretty cool. I don't know.
that it is, and it's even and I think like the moving cards represents Fortnite. Like for instance, the Ultimate Night with the llama riding like riding that llama. The
Oh yeah, yeah. I have that one too.
That's the most ridiculous card, but if people don't play the game, ridiculous things like that happens all the time, especially in regular lobbies. That's the type of stuff. That's the type of stuff you'll actually see. So I think that card represents Fortnite in probably the best way possible, where you had this supposed to be alpha male looking card, right? Alpha male looking skin, like the Ultimate Knight, and then he's just like riding this llama. It's the most absurd thing ever, and I think it represents like how a Fortnite lobby would look in
What
in random moments.
you know what they're missing out on Reloaded? They should have done the donkey laugh
Yeah.
emote.
Oh man, that is the worst, bro. Like
That's
when
the
it's used against you, it's the worst.
God, yeah. So when I play like versus randoms, I'll do like 2v2s or 3v3s. And I won't emote on anybody until
He's
they do.
lying. He's lying.
Until they do. I let them do it first, right?
Yeah.
So like sometimes like they'll get the first win. So
Yeah.
the rounds is to 10, so you play it
Yeah.
10 times. So they get the first and then they'll go come up to you and like laugh and emo and do
Yeah.
like this donkey laugh. And then this is what I kid you not. I'll knock one. I won't
Yeah.
thirst them. I'll
Yeah.
sit there and donkey laugh until his teammate comes. Then I'll pump him and then I'll kill his teammate. And then I'll do the same thing until all three of them are dead.
Yeah.
And it's the most fun thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah. It's I guess that's the thing. Okay, so like it was very few things that you can do in Call of Duty to like really piss somebody off. Like that's where I came from. I came from Call of Duty, right? Fortnite, dude, like when I don't think people understand when
It
that
lets
emote happen, it runs through your body. Like,
It lets you express yourself, and
yes,
I'm telling you,
yeah,
like, I've, like, cursed. I wish there was a like, if someone does it to you, like, if someone's, like, destroying you, and this happened to me,
yeah,
I've been
yeah,
destroyed, and they're doing that laugh, and it's like, I tell them people I play with, I was like, "God, I wish there was, like, something I could say back." Like,
yeah,
as I'm, like, crawling, "You're not good. Like, you
yeah.
suck. Stop stop laughing on me. You're not
Oh
that good.
man,
You're not that guy, man. You're not that guy."
oh man, that's funny. That is funny. Because it's like it's such a and
It's the vocals on it.
it's yes,
If you guys don't
yes,
know, if you guys don't play the game, like, just go and do a YouTube of, like, Fortnite donkey laugh, and you'll
yeah,
get it, you'll understand.
it,
It's the most, like, obnoxious, most
yeah,
condescending laugh.
literally. Like, and I remember when they released it, right? Like, and they had they had the icon of it. They had the
Mhm.
icon of it, and I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna be a laugh." When I heard it, I was like, "Oh, this is about to be crazy." Like, and it was nothing short of that.
I thought it was hilarious because I saw on Reddit, there's a whole, like, thread of people talking about the donkey life. I was like, "Why won't they remove it? They need to remove this. This
Yeah.
is why the game sucks, because people are toxic. They have to remove this." I said, "Epic Games is not gonna remove that emote because
Ever.
you die so much. No, no, there's no way." I'll be upset if they remove
Yeah,
that because
yeah,
people do that. It's like, get over it. It's part of the game. Um, no, that's pretty funny.
yeah,
The
that's
the I think for the moving cards, the ones I really like are just, like, the ones that change their style versus,
yeah,
like,
the
the
drift.
emotes.
I like the drift a lot.
The drift is nice, yeah, for sure. It's interesting how which ones they chose. I like Calamity. So, we were talking about, like, what cards may not be, like, forever going, like, up even though it's a good skin.
Mhm,
Um, like, I like Calamity,
mhm,
and I wore her for a long time, and she's nostalgic to me, but, like, I'm not selling stuff to try to get her
mhm,
because I don't wear her anymore.
mhm.
That's one that I think could hover around the $200 to $500 range eventually and stay there.
Yeah, yeah.
Even if stuff other cards, even if the market goes up,
Mhm.
like she's like one that maybe I could be
May
wrong,
right.
but like to me, like I like that skin, but I'm not paying $1,000 for it.
I have I have one that I feel hasn't seen its day yet.
Which one's that?
Drift. I think because we haven't seen a legit like a graded auction. I mean, obviously we've seen it at a hollow. We just one just ended the
Hmm.
PSA 9, but like cracked ice. Like I think I'm interested to see how
So
Drift does
I was
in
never a big
general.
fan of Drift just because of how big his coat was. I love the design.
Uh-huh.
I thought the design was tight, and
Yeah.
even Catalyst doesn't get that much love. She's
Right.
vicious. She's like the female Drift for those who
Yeah.
don't know. Um, what I think the Drift collectors have going for them is there was I think it was a leak, an
Yeah.
unintended leak,
Yeah.
or like a Twitter hack or something, and Drift took over the Twitter or something, and they posted like weird storyline shots
Mm.
of Drift and the crew skin. Because so there's a Fortnite crew
I didn't even
skin.
notice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so there's a Fortnite crew skin. You've seen her, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, and she's like a female version. She comes from the same world as Drift.
Mhm.
And there was this like a week of like these weird Twitter posts and
Which is our
stories.
world,
The
right?
see back
That's
when
what
you
makes it
first came
tough.
okay, so back when you first came out, I don't know if the whole story was out there. It might be our world. But
Got
where
you.
do those masks comes from? Because 'Cause they're like some kind of ninjas. Do you remember Lucky Landing?
Yeah. Yeah.
That was like from them. That came from there.
Mm.
So the Twitter leak or whatever showed like everyone thought we were getting this new Drift storyline,
Mhm.
and then pop, it disappeared.
Huh.
So I think there could be something brewing for Drift storyline wise, and if
Uh-huh.
they build that out into its own thing, yeah, he could definitely come back into the picture and then
Uh-huh.
explode. Um, so you say he hasn't had his day yet.
Yeah, I don't
He
think he
may
had his day
not,
yet.
and he may not
Mhm.
for a while till they bring out the story,
Mhm.
but he's not a bad hole. Just
Mm.
as speculation, if they come up with a story like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I have to look that up.
Yeah. That's
It was
interesting
really
to say
weird
the
because
least.
it popped up and then it just disappeared and we never heard about it again. Which Fortnite does. They do stuff like that,
Mhm.
and then, like, a year, 2 years later, it comes into fruition. So,
So, okay, I'll save that one for next time because I haven't fully thought through yet, and I kinda wanna think it through first. So, yeah.
alright, we can do that on the next episode.
Yeah, yeah, I wanna save that one.
Does it say how long we've been on?
Hour 5.
Alright, guys, I think that's enough content for today.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
can't give y'all too much at
if you
once.
guys haven't liked and subscribed, please do so.
Yes.
We're on YouTube, Spotify. We're trying to get on Apple Podcasts. They're giving us
Yeah,
issues.
yeah.
Um, but like us on our YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube, and our podcast at Spotify. We
Also,
really appreciate it.
yeah, and if you do have, questions or topics, you can leave it in this comment section down below. You can follow us on Instagram and also do that when we put up the post. But yeah, definitely, give us some angles that you want to talk about or that you're thinking about, or just some questions that you want us to answer.
Yeah, questions. I'd love to answer some questions.
Yeah.
Give our take on it. Our Instagram is taking high ground,
Mhm.
and you guys are on the YouTube channel. So
Yeah.
I appreciate for you guys tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next time.
All right. Yeah. Have a good one.